Hey, how's it going? Dave here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Yo scale. And the Yo scale is a really cool Japanese major pentatonic scale. It's a different major pentatonic scale than the major pentatonic scale that you're probably used to hearing. There's a few different intervals. So let's take a look at the construction of the Yo scale. So the Yo scale is made up of a root, a second, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. That means if you take your major scale and just take away the third degree and the seventh degree, then we've got the Yo scale. Now, if you're familiar with the major and minor pentatonic scale, this is actually just a mode of that. So if you take your fifth shape of your minor pentatonic scale, you've got the Yo scale. Or if you're looking at the major pentatonic scale, if you take your fourth shape, you've got the Yo scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of these individual shapes. And if you already know the 5 shapes, it's still worth looking at these shapes now because we're going to be taking a look at where the root notes are and they're going to be a bit different. Okay, so we're going to be working in the key of C today, and we're going to jump a bit closer to the guitar so that you can see the shapes properly. Okay, so let's take a look at these shapes. So the first shape, we are going to be playing 8-10 on the low E string, 8-10 on the A string, 7-10, 7-10, 8-10, and 8-10. Now, you're probably familiar with that as the 5th shape of your minor pentatonic scale, but the root notes are in different places now. So the root note becomes our first note of this shape, the 10th fret of the D string, and the 8th fret of the high E string. Now let's take a look at the second shape, and the second shape is what is your standard minor pentatonic scale. So we've got 10, 13, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 13, and 10, 13. So our root notes become the 13th fret of the B string and the 10th fret of the D string. Now let's take a look at shape number 3 of the Yo scale. So we've got 13, 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, 12, 14, 13, 15, and 13, 15 once more. So our root notes are the 13th fret of the B string, and we've got the 15th fret of the A string. Now let's take a look at shape number 4 of the Yo scale. So we're going to move down to the lower range of the guitar. So we're going to be playing 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 2-5, 3-6, and 3-5. I'm running through these shapes quite quickly because I know a lot of you are going to be familiar with these shapes. So I just want to run over where the root notes are. So we've got the 5th fret of the G string and the 3rd fret of the A string, and that's where our root notes are. And then we're going to take a look at the 5th and final shape of the Yo scale. So we've got 5-8, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 6-8, and 5-8. And the root notes would be the 8th fret of the 2 E strings and also the 5th fret of the G string. So it's important that we learn these root notes so that we can target them when we're playing the scale. All right, now we're going to take a look at some chords that we can play with the Yo scale. So before we go into chords, I'll make it clear that this scale traditionally in Japanese music sounds really good as a solo scale. That means with no backing, and it will also work really well over a drone of the 1st and 2nd and 4th degree. So in this case it would be C, D, and F. So if you play single note drones and then play the scale over the top, it sounds pretty good. But we can create chords from this scale, and when we play chords you might lose that traditional Japanese sound, but it still sounds cool nonetheless. So let's take a look at some of the chords we've got that from the scale. So first of all, we've got a C sus2 chord, which looks like this. Then we've got a C sus4 chord, which looks like this. We've got a D sus4 chord. We've got a D minor chord. We've got F major. We've got F sus2. We've got G sus2. We've got G sus4. And we've got a weird one here. We've got A7 sus4 sharp 5. It's not the best sounding one, but I thought I'd include it anyway. Still sounds pretty cool. Now, as you can see, because of the scale degrees that have been taken out of the scale, we've got lots of sus chords that have been created here with this scale. So it's a cool sound to it. So now we're going to move on to some licks that you can play with the scale. Now you want to bear in mind using this scale that it is a mode of F major, of the F major pentatonic scale. So we are playing the C yo scale, which means that when you're playing licks and stuff, you really want to emphasize that C note and end your licks on C to create a unique sound that doesn't just sound like you're playing F major pentatonic. So I've got 2 more licks for you, and if you want to grab Guitar Pro versions of the tabs, and if you want to grab the backing track to jam along to, they're down in the description at my Patreon page. So here's the first lick. And here's the second lick. It's a little bit more widdly. So that's the yo scale. I think it's a really cool sounding scale. It's just really important that you make it sound like you're playing in the key of C rather than the key of F, which could quite naturally happen as it is a derivative of the F major pentatonic scale. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Please practice this scale, get used to writing some stuff with it, use those chords that I showed you. If you enjoyed this video, I'd be really grateful for a like, and if you could hit subscribe as well, and leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the video, and also with any other video suggestions that you may have, as I'm very open to ideas. Anyway, I will see you in the next video.